Okay, let's just jump right in. We're about to take a core belief you probably have and completely turn it on its head. I'm talking about empathy. The source for all this? A really fascinating anthropological article that totally flips the script on what it means to be empathetic.
All right, so let's dive in. When we talk about empathy, we usually think of it as this amazing force for good, right? Well, it turns out that's only one side of the coin. We're going to start with that familiar, positive idea, and then we're going to explore its much, much darker side.
So let me ask you something, and it might seem like a trick question, but it's not. Is empathy always a good thing? I mean, our gut reaction is, yeah, of course it is. It's what makes us kind, connected, human, right? But what's so wild about the article we're digging into is that it argues that's not the full picture, not even close.
Right. So on one hand, we've got what we think empathy is: compassion, connection, all the good stuff. But, and this is the big but, this article makes the case that it can also be a tool for the exact opposite. We're talking deception, manipulation, and yeah, even violence. And there it is. That's the central idea. And honestly, it's pretty startling. The very skill of putting yourself in someone else's shoes can be turned into a weapon. I know, it's a huge idea. So let's really break down what that actually means.
Okay, so to really wrap our heads around this, we've got to get some definitions straight. Because the article points out this really, really important difference between two words we kind of throw around like they're the same thing. And that key term is tactical empathy. Now, this isn't what you think. It's not about feeling for someone. It's actually a cold, calculated skill. It's the ability to get inside someone else's head for one reason: to gain a strategic advantage. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just a tool.
And this is where that big distinction comes in. Tactical empathy is all about understanding. Think of it as feeling into someone's perspective to see what makes them tick, but you're still you. Sympathy, on the other hand, is about feeling with them. That's where the lines get blurry and you start to share their feelings. And trust me, that difference is everything for this argument. Okay, so let's see this in action. The first case study from the article is wild. It takes us all the way to the frozen forests of Siberia, where this concept plays out in a very real life-or-death situation. So get this. The article talks about this hunter from the Yukagir people in Siberia. He's dressed in a moose hide, and he's mimicking a moose so perfectly that you literally can't tell if you're looking at a man or a moose. What he's doing is using this incredibly deep tactical empathy to literally become his prey. The authors have a name for this: mimetic empathy. And here's the crazy part. The hunter isn't just copying the moose. He's creating a kind of perfect, idealized version of a moose, the exact thing the real moose wants to see. He's using his deep understanding of that animal's desires to basically lure it to its own death. It's fascinating and kind of terrifying. And this right here is the absolute core of it. The hunter has to use tactical empathy. He has to get inside the moose's head. But he absolutely cannot feel sympathy. There's even a Yukagir myth that warns that if a hunter starts feeling with the animal, feeling its pain, the magic is broken, the hunt fails, and his people starve. He has to stay detached. It's a matter of survival. Okay, so now we're going to jump from an ancient hunting ritual to a modern political conflict in Indonesia. And you're going to see how this exact same principle was used, but this time with absolutely devastating results. All right, so the year is 1999 in a region of Indonesia called North Maluku. A letter starts circulating, and it's got this absolutely chilling line in it. It looked like it came from the Christian community, and it laid out this horrific plan to attack their Muslim neighbors. But it was not what it seemed at all. Turns out the letter was a complete fake, a forgery. The people who actually wrote it were Muslim, and they used tactical empathy to get inside the minds of their Christian neighbors. They copied their way of talking, their religious phrases, even their specific hopes and fears, all to paint this incredibly convincing and totally demonic picture of their enemy. And the result of this weaponized empathy, it was tragically real. The fake letter, which was perfectly designed to prey on existing fears, sparked riots that killed more than 2,000 people. Let that sink in. Empathy was used as a weapon to start a war. Now, I know what you're thinking. A Siberian hunter, a political forgery. These are pretty extreme examples. But the article makes a powerful point that this kind of tactical empathy is, well, it's all around us. It's surprisingly common. Just think about it for a second. A police profiler trying to think like a serial killer. A military strategist trying to predict the enemy's next move.
What about a con artist who knows exactly what a victim wants to hear? Or even just a good poker player reading a bluff? See, this isn't some exotic, far off concept. It's a tool anyone uses when they need to figure someone out, to get an edge, even in that little bit of faking it we all do to get through social situations. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? What are we supposed to do with this information? How should this really change how we look at empathy? Well, the first big point from the source material is this. We need to stop thinking about empathy as something that's automatically good. It's just not. It isn't inherently a moral virtue. And that leads us to the big idea, the total reframing of this concept. It's so much more useful to think of empathy as a neutral human skill. That's it. It's a tool, a capacity that we all have. And just like any tool, its moral value isn't in the tool itself, right? A hammer can build a home, or it can smash a window. It's the same thing with empathy. You can use it to build connections, to show real compassion, or you can use it to deceive and be cruel. The good or bad part, that's all about the intention of the person holding the tool. And that leaves us with one final and kind of provocative question. If empathy is just a tool, one that can be used for good or for bad, well, that kind of forces us to look at ourselves, doesn't it? The real question isn't, is empathy good? The real question is, how do you use it?